Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 5, Chapter 6, text number 11 and 12. Text number 11 doesn't have a purport, so we'll read the translation. Says, low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduced a system of religion that deviated from the Vedic principles. Following their own mental concoctions, they automatically fall down into the darkest region of existence. Prabhupada's purport says, in this connection, one might see Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, where is a description of the fall down of the Asura. Text 6:16 and text 16:23. Text 6:16 says, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. And text 23 says, he who discards spiritual injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Now, text number 12. I'll just read the verse since it's pro verse. Ayam avataro rajo plapluta kaivalya pasik kansan nartaha. Word for word. Ayam avatara. In this incarnation, Lord Rishabhdev, Rajasaha, by the mode of passion, Upa paluta, overwhelmed, Kaivalya, Upashikasana, Artha, to teach people the path of liberation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this age of Kali, people are overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Rishabhdev incarnated himself to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Everyone can please repeat. In this age of Kali, people are overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Rishabhdev incarnated himself to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Purport. The symptoms of Kali Yuga are predicted in the 12th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lavayam Kesha Dharanam. It's predicted how fallen souls will behave. They will keep long hair and consider themselves very beautiful, or they will pluck out their hair as the Jains do. They will keep themselves unclean and will not wash their mouths. Jains refer to Lord Rishabhdev as their original preceptor. If such people are serious followers of Rishabhdev, they must also take his instructions. In the 5th chapter of this canto, Rishabhdev gave his 100 sons instructions Thereby they could become free from the clutches of Maya. If one actually follows Rishabhdev, he will certainly be delivered from the clutches of Maya and return home back to Godhead. If one strictly follows the instruction of Rishabhdev, given in the 5th chapter, he will certainly be liberated. Lord Rishabhdev incarnated specifically to deliver the fallen souls. Om Argyantaram Dasya Jana Jana Sakaya Chakshu Limitam Jena Tasmei Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dantisa Patantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagaratam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Sajiva Sadvaitam Sabhutam Prijana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishagam Cha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapade Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kantam Nosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Priyamani Hari Priye Vanjakalpa Turvyascha Pipa Sindhu Evacha Pandam Pavnebo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation once again. In this age of Kali, people are overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Rishabhdev incarnated himself to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. So in the 12th canto, here it refers to the 12th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. 12th canto Srimad Bhagavatam says, Sukadeva Goswami said, then, O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength and memory will all diminish day by day because of powerful influence, age of Kali. Men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction, and success in business will depend on deceit. Womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's expertise in sex, and a man will be known as a Brahman just by wearing a thread. A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to external symbols, and that same basis will change from one spiritual order to the next. A person's property will be a serious question if he does not earn a good living, and one who is very clever at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. A person will be judged unholy if he does not have money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think himself fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. A sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance, and beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the goal of life, and one who's audacious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. So this was written by Srila Vyasadeva 5,000 years ago, Srimad Bhagavatam. And these symptoms, these things are going on today. And this is only, Kali Yuga goes for 432,000 years. Only 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have begun. So especially in the 60s and 70s, was called the hippie generation, where the men were keeping their long hair, thinking themselves very beautiful, and they didn't take bath, and what's being described here in the 12th canto. So, Srila Prabhupada in 1922 was first meeting with his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Bhaktisiddhanta said, "You are a young man. Why don't you preach the mission, the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the English-speaking world?" Now, Srila Prabhupada was a family man at that time, and it was his first meeting. He didn't expect to hear this, but Srila Prabhupada took that instruction as his life and soul. A.K. Kuru Nandana says, Bhagavad Gita 241, that the one-pointed attention from 1922 to the time Prabhupada stepped on the boat to come to America, he was contemplating and preparing himself to fulfill that mission and fulfill that order given by his spiritual master. The order of the spiritual master is like a thunderbolt. It cannot be broken at any time. You know, the fence is chanting the holy names to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. So Lord said, Srila Prabhupada got that order, and in order to fulfill that order, he had to make so many preparations to come to America. So somehow he thought it was he took the he went to the steamship lady, the lady owned the steamship company, to beg for a ticket aboard a cargo ship to come to America. Because this lady wasn't a poor lady. She had 90 cargo ships. She could easily have bought him a ticket on an airplane. But Prabhupada, the injunction to sannyasi shouldn't cross the ocean, but Prabhupada also had 3 trunks of books that he wanted to bring to America, to implant Krishna consciousness in America. So anyhow, it was the Krishna's arrangement that Prabhupada got the passage on the Jaladuta. And the captain made all arrangements, so Prabhupada said he was feeling comfortable. They gave him a spacious apartment, whatever they had. It was the best they had on a cargo ship. And Prabhupada did, although he had accommodations were sufficient, suitable, still he had to suffer on his journey, which took 38 days. And then arriving in Boston Harbor, Prabhupada, the captain, took Prabhupada for a walk around the city, and then he went to New York, and that's where he embarked off the ship. And as soon as he got to America, he could understand the condition of the people, that everyone was in the mode of passion and ignorance. And he prayed to Krishna, "My dear Lord, I don't know why you've brought me here. How will these people understand this message of Vasudeva? They're all completely absorbed in the mode of passion and ignorance." But he said, "I'm an insignificant puppet. I'm your puppet. Just simply make me dance, make me dance." Srila Prabhupada completely sold out to Krishna, so he completely depended on Krishna. He only had 40 rupees in his pocket. At that time it was 8 rupees to $1. That was like $5. Hardly 1 hour's spending in New York. But then the captain of the boat bought a set. Prabhupada had the stream of Bhagavatam with him. He had 3 trunks of Bhagavatam books, 3 books, first canto. The captain bought one set of books, gave him $20. And when Prabhupada got off the boat, he didn't know whether to turn left or right. He didn't know what he should do. Here's a man, 70-year-old man, dressed like a sannyasi, wearing white pointed rubber shoes in a land where nobody knows anything about religious life, about Vedic culture, what a sannyasi is. And Prabhupada didn't compromise. Before he left for America, they said, "Swamiji, you're going to have to wear pants and shirt and tie, eat with knife and spoon, fork and spoon and knife." Prabhupada said, "No, I'm not going there to learn from them. I'm going there to teach them." So when Prabhupada came to America, he didn't feel it was necessary to compromise in his appearance, or compromise in any way in his lifestyle. And then when Prabhupada met some reporters, they asked him, "Why have you come to America? Have you come to introduce a new religion?" And the reporter said, "There are so many religions in America. What is the need for another religion?" But Prabhupada said, "No, I've not come to teach a new religion. I've come to teach the real religion. The real religion means to learn how to love God. That is a religion. Any religion that teaches the people how to know God, how to love God, that is true religion." So most of the so-called religions in America have failed to do this. They asked Prabhupada, "The Christian religion, do you think the Christian religion has failed the people in America?" Prabhupada said, "Yes, I think so." Because when we started the Hare Krishna movement, we were looking for facility to buy temples, to make temples in America, and the best places to make temples were the churches, because all the churches were empty, because people are not interested in going to church or following religion. At most, it was mainly old ladies who would attend the church maybe once a week on Sunday. So this is the influence of Kali Yuga, how it progressed so quickly. Yesterday we heard from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj how the Kali Yuga, even in the last 20-30 years, how the morality, the standard of morality has declined so much. and it's increasing more and more. And here it says, day by day, people's ability to understand spiritual knowledge will decrease more and more. The more sinful people are, the less their ability is to understand spiritual knowledge. Just like most devotees in the West try to preach to their friends and relatives, and they can't hear. They refuse to hear. They can't hear any good instruction. You try to give good instruction to a foolish person. What happens? He simply becomes angry. It's like Prahlad Maharaj. His father called him to ask him, "What have you learned from your teachers?" And Prahlad Maharaj spoke Vaishnava philosophy. And Hiranyakashipu was a demon, and he considered Lord Vishnu to be his enemy. So when he heard Vaishnava philosophy from his 5-year-old son, he didn't accept that. He became angry, he rejected it. Not only did he reject it, he tried to kill his son. In so many ways, he tried to kill his son, but he couldn't do it. And his son went back to school. Then he called him back again, and he asked him again, "What have you learned in your school?" And Prahlad Maharaj again spoke Vaishnava philosophy. Jai Sri Sri Gauranitai Krishna Bhavan Radha Shama Sundar Lita Bashaka Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Parasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Atmanam Vedanam. Then again, Hiranyakashipu was not pleased to hear this. And Hiranyakashipu, even after trying to kill Prahlad Maharaj in 20 different ways, thought he could kill Prahlad Maharaj. But then we know the Lord came as Lord Nrsingadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj and kill Hiranyakashipu. So this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, the activities and teachings of Lord Rishabhdev, Lord Rishabhdev had 100 sons. So we know in Kali Yuga, people don't live for more than 100 years, let alone have 100 sons. So this was something that took place. The activities of Rishabhdev took place either in the Satya Yuga or the Treta Yuga, where people lived for hundreds of thousands of years and were able to do that. But still, this king Arhat, he heard about the activities of Lord Rishabhdev, and he copied the Lord Rishabhdev. Here it says he made Lord Rishabhdev their preceptor, original founder of the Jain religion. But he didn't take the good quality, he took the bad qualities. And therefore they are, not accepted. We don't accept them as a bona fide religion. There are only four sampradayas, 4 social orders that one can be considered a bona fide religion. That's from the Lakshmi Sri Sampradaya, the Ruja Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, and the Brahma Sampradaya. If someone's not in one of those sampradayas, his teaching is simply a disturbance to society. So, Lord Rishabhdev, he came to uplift the people, not to introduce some bogus philosophy. Brahma Samhita says, Ramadi Murteshu Kala Niyamena Tatistam Nanavataram Akaro Bhivaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samavat Paramam Paramanyo Govindamari Pushatamaha Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, who manifests himself personally as Krishna and different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vama, etc., as if subjected portions. So the Lord comes, and it says the Lord incarnates in every species of life. The incarnate Lord, they're coming and going like the waves in the ocean. But Srimad Bhagavatam and the other Vedic literature only mention the prominent incarnations. But the incarnations of the Lord are all on the spiritual platform, above the modes of material nature. They can't be contaminated in any way. So, this history of Lord Rishabhdev, he came and first he instructed his 100 sons. And those instructions are very valuable. And what were those instructions? The first verse is we can hear it one more time. Rishabhuvacha nayam deho deha bhajami loke kastam karamam arate vidbhujaye tato divyam putraka yena sadvam sudyat yasmad brahma sukyam tu anantam. Lord Rishabhdev said, "My dear boys, of all living entities who accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work day and night, simply like this for sense gratification, which is available even for the hogs and dogs that eat stool. One to engage in penance and austerities to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activities, one's heart is purified. When one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever." So this is our message to the world, that people should not live like the hogs and dogs, or simply live a life for sense gratification. Bhagavad Gita says, those who are too attached to material sense enjoyment, the resolute determination of devotional service does not take place. That's why the Krishna consciousness movement is available for everyone. We simply, they asked Srila Prabhupada, what do you people do for recreation? He said, we simply chant and dance and take prasadam. Very simple. Anyone can join us. One of Bhaktisiddhanta's in one mat, but there was one man in the mat who he just wanted to chant all day, chant japa all day. So they complained to Bhaktisiddhanta. He said, you make an advertisement, put an ad in the newspaper, local newspaper. Anyone who can sit and chant all day will provide you with all your necessities of life. And I think only one person responded to that advertisement. So people think that working hard day and night to maintain themselves for sense gratification is the goal of life, and that spiritual life is not important. Sukadeva Goswami, when he was touring the world, he would go to householders, and he would only stay long enough to milk a cow, which is 20 minutes or half an hour, and he'd instruct them. And because householders are considered poor-hearted, even in the spiritual life, even devotees, They think that maintaining the family is the first business and spiritual life is the second business. So, but we know, Prahlad Brahmar says, Nete vidu sarvagatim hi Vishnu. The goal of life is to return home back to Godhead, not to remain in this material world, which is a place of misery and suffering. So all our efforts should be aimed at that, to give up the desire for sense gratification and only desire to perform devotional service. Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karmanavitam anukalena krishna no bhakti uttamam. This is the this definition that Rupa Goswami gives in Nectar Devotion. Pure devotional service, free from jnana, free from karma, only bhakti. Bhaktyamam amajananti. Krishna says, I can only be known by devotional service, no other way. So this is what the Lord came 5,000 years ago. Lord Krishna came. He said, Sarvadhamma prikshajya mamekam saranamja ham tvam sarvapavyo mokshasarva suchaha. Just surrender unto me, give up all varieties of religion. That means any other religion which does not foster Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service. Even Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are the full goals of materialists, they also are to be given up. These are also considered Kaitava Dharma, or cheating religion. And Krishna says, if you do this, surrender unto me, I will protect you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. Ma Suchaha. So this is the process of Krishna consciousness, the surrendering process. We have to surrender to Krishna, but we have to surrender to Guru. Every day we're singing Shri Guru Charuna Padma, Kevala, Bhakti Sadma. The lotus feet of the spiritual master is the only way to attain pure devotional service. So by surrendering to Guru, then we are surrendering to Krishna at the same time. And so this is the process of sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. We have to follow the rules and regulations, the path chalked out by the Mahajana Yena Tatasapanta. Mahajans described in the Mahabharata, the great souls, they've given us the path to follow. And Guru Krishna presided by Bhakti Lata Bij. So by taking initiation from this bona fide spiritual master, the seed is planted in the heart for the creeper of devotional service can grow. And that creeper is there, can grow by watering the creeper. When you have a plant, you have to water that plant daily. And the watering process is Shravanam Kirtanam. 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. These are the most important processes, beginning with Shravanam Kirtanam. So daily, we must chant 16 rounds. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, he asked his disciples to chant 64 rounds. They said, no, we can't do it, it's too difficult. Even Bhaktisiddhanta, he ordered his disciples to chant 64 rounds. Those who were living in the mat, people who live outside, it's not so strict, but for the people living in the mat, he wanted everyone to chant 64 rounds. And he wanted them to perform deity worship, he wanted them to print books, he wanted them to make dioramas, he wanted them to have a kirtan, he wanted all these other activities to go on simultaneously. And they went to Bhaktisiddhanta and said, no, we can't chant 64 rounds, we don't have time. The Bhaktisiddhanta didn't accept that. He told them, then you sleep less. So Prabhupada said, asked his followers to chant 64 rounds. They said, no, We can't chant 64 rounds, it's too difficult. He said, okay, you chant 32 rounds. Then he said, no, that also is too difficult. Then he said 16 rounds. He said 16 rounds, no less. Because in the West, it's not so easy to chant. In the Vrindavan, it's easy. You can chant 16 rounds, 32 rounds. You can chant all day. It's not so difficult. But in the West, the modes of nature are very heavy, and it's more difficult to chant. Chant attentively or chant properly. The Prabhupada set the standard for his movement. Everyone must follow 4 principles: no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, and chant at least 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day on the beads. And they asked Srila Prabhupada, well, what if someone can't chant 16 rounds? Then he said, well, if you miss your 16 rounds one day, then the next day you should make up the rounds you missed and chant 16 rounds the next day before you eat or sleep. Then they said to him, well, what if someone can't chant 16 rounds? Then Prabhupada said, he's an animal. Prabhupada didn't accept any excuses. Anyone who was initiated or made a vow, he said he's the gentleman. A gentleman makes a vow. He doesn't break his vow. So we make a vow in front of the fire, in front of the deities, in front of the spiritual master, 16 rounds every day for life. 4 regular principles. And the 4 regular principles apply to everyone, whether one be brahmachari or grihastra, vanaprastha, sannyas. Everyone must follow these 4 regulated principles. If he wants to make advancement, go back to Godhead. The 10 offenses to the holy name and to disobey the orders of the spiritual master is the 3rd offense. So we should try to understand the 10 offenses to the holy name, to try to chant the pure name. And Haridas Thakur, in his book Harinam Chintamani, said the holy name of the Lord is like the sunshine. The sun is always shining, but there are days when it's cloudy and you can't see the sunshine. So he said these clouds are there in the form of anarthas. And those anarthas are when one is longing or craving for material objects, craving for liberation, craving for mystic power, craving for heavenly pleasures. Then there's the weakness of heart. One desires to accumulate things which are not related to Krishna. One is deceitful or duplicitous in his dealings. One is envious of the Vaishnavas, envious of someone who's making spiritual advancement. Like when Rupa and Sanatana Goswami had changed their names, had become engaged in this government service. They had taken Muslim names, so Lord Chaitanya renamed them Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. And all the Vaishnavas in that assembly were very pleased to see the advancement of these 2 great souls. Of course, they're Nityasiddha devotees, they're eternal associates of the Lord, but for the sake of their Leela pastimes, they were forced to engage in the service of the Muslim government. So we should not be envious of the Vaishnavas. Someone is making advancement, someone who's spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, someone who's making many disciples and doing so many wonderful things. We should not be envious of such a person. And we should not desire name and fame. This is called subtle sex life, pratista. Subtle sex life, name, profit, adoration, distinction. These things, they block the sun, they block the path of bhakti. So we cannot get the taste, pure taste. When one chants the holy name of the Lord, if the symptoms are not there, if the tears are not coming to the eyes, if the body is not shivering, voice choked up, it means it only means one thing, that we are hard as a steel frame. Krishna cannot sit in the heart. The heart has to become soft. Our heart as steel frame means we're committing offenses to the holy name. So until we stop offending the holy name, then we cannot get the taste. We cannot understand that Krishna and Krishna's name are non-different. So also there's the Vaishnava Aparad, offenses to devotees. They must be avoided at all costs. This is Sadhu Ninda. This is the most grievous offense, to offend the Vaishnava, offend the devotee. Because Krishna, if you offend Krishna, he doesn't take it very seriously. But if you offend his devotee, he will not forgive you. Srivas Thakur was having kirtan every night with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. One Brahmin, he was envious. They locked the door. They wouldn't let any outsiders in. So one Brahmin was envious. So he put the item for worshipping Goddess Kali on the doorstep of Srivas Thakur. So in the morning when Srivas opened his door, he saw these items such as wine and other untouchable things. He called all the neighbors. He said, "Look, I'm a Kali worshipper." Then he had the place clean. He had someone take the things away and clean the place with cow dung. So this person who did that, his name was Gopal Chapala. He was attacked by leprosy. And then since leprosy is contagious, he was forced to go and live in the forest. So later on he met Mahaprabhu, and he said to Mahaprabhu, "You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'm suffering so greatly from this leprosy. You please relieve me of my offense." Mahaprabhu said, "No. You're suffering now, but you don't know how much suffering is coming to you." He said that Yamaraj has 84,840,000 different kinds of punishments, and you're going to have to go through each and every one of them for offending my devotee. But then he told him, if you go to Srivas and beg his forgiveness, then you'll get forgiven. So he did that. He went to Srivas Thakur and begged for forgiveness, and then he became a Vaishnava poet. So this is the severity of Vaishnava Aparad. Then there's Seva Aparad and deity worship, many offenses. They're listed in the Nectar Devotion. Should not offer obeisances with one hand. Should not, so many things, turn our back to the deity. Should not talk loudly in front of the deity. So many offenses are there in these manner of Seva Aparad. But Seva Aparad can be counteracted by worshipping Tulsi, by reading a chapter of Bhagavad Gita in so many different ways. Then there's Vaishnava Aparad, Seva Aparad, Nama Aparad. Nama Aparad cannot be counteracted in any way. But it's not that we should stop chanting. We should continue chanting, and we should continue chanting vigorously and more and more, and to counteract any offenses to the holy name. And also, as is mentioned, Jiva Aparad, we should not only not offend the Vaishnavas, we should also not offend ordinary living entities as much as possible. Prabhupada always stressed the fact he wanted all his disciples to act like perfect ladies and gentlemen. We would go on book distribution, and he'd say, if you, when you're selling books to people, if you try to sell a book to someone and you agitate that person and he goes away without buying a book, that is your nonsense. So Vaisheshika Prabhu, he's very enthusiastic about book distribution. He says even if we don't give the people a book, we should leave them with a good impression. We should make them feel that devotees are at least nice people. In this way, the clouds which are covering our mind and intelligence will eventually